What's up, y'all? It's Guerrero here, and welcome to the first episode of Capoeira Instructors React. I've asked a few of my friends to sit down with me and watch different capoeira clips in film and on TV and in commercials and in cartoons. I just wanted to see their opinions. So today, we're actually going to be reacting and commenting on Bob's Burgers, Season 1, Episode 4, Sexy Dance Fighting. Here we go.
Hey, how we doing, everybody? This is Versatil. My brother Guerrero has asked me to do a reaction video for probably what has become one of the most iconic spoof cartoons, you might say, in a long while. So he and I are both martial artists. We practice a form called Capoeira, and there is a cartoon by the name of Bob's Burgers that has done an episode of Capoeira. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but the interesting thing is that if you watch it, you realize that it is no doubt that this has been written by somebody. At least this segment was written by somebody who knew something about capoeira. There are, again, tons of inaccuracies and things that just don't match, but certain things that are absolutely impossible to know if you're not a capoeirista come out. So it makes it really, really funny, and there are a lot of inside jokes. Kind of reminds me of this movie that came out about a year or so ago called The Art of Self-Defense. Homeboy Steve Tirada was in that one. It's hilarious. If you do any kind of martial art and you understand how sometimes martial arts groups and classes can have a little bit of a cultish aspect to them. So it really comes through in that movie, so check that out. But now we're going to look at Bob's Burgers, and let's just see what this rewatching turns up.
Alright, Bob's Burgers.
The batizado, the belt changing event is happening.
The stinky feet is also really real. It's a real struggle, everybody. You try, but you know, feet are not famous for smelling good.
I do like the funny reference to the choulet, the smelly feet.
Brazil, Spanish. Congratulations, Neil. You have earned your yellow.
This is actually, it's kind of a small thing. Neil's cord ties in the front, which is weird. I don't think I've ever seen that. Most capoeira cords tie on the left or the right just because you don't want to be like getting all tangled up in it. And that is just an awkward place for it to tie. It's also really great, like easy for someone to grab hold of it when it's right in front of you. You don't want that. That's embarrassing.
They say corda, the corda when they're handing them out. And in my experience, the corda is a dyed rope. It looks as if they're doing what I've experienced as the cordon, and the cordon looks like this. From what I've been taught, the cordon is a braided. I don't know if you can see that. And this is a really crappy job that I did braiding this, but it's braided yarn. And that's a cordon. It appears as if that's what they're using in this episode. So it's as far as I can see, that's a cordon. The cordon is like a dyed rope, and that looks more like it's this, right? Where it's a rope, it's just been, you just toss it in a thing of dye, and there you go.
It's stupid silly. You know, there's a basic movement called the Ginga where you move in a triangular footwork pattern, a female triangle, unlike the male triangle that's used in Filipino martial arts.
So clearly came bombing.
She looks like she's having a good time.
They're kind of just swinging their arms back and forth and doing these crazy flips, and the teacher's whipping his hair around saying, Brazil!
The arm thing is kind of like, that's how my little sister dances. That's not really like a Ginga.
Oh, did you see the size of the heko heko? It looked like a ring stick. I didn't notice that before.
Thank you. The test is complete. I'm sorry, Tina, but you have failed.
Oh, that would never happen here. You would never have a bachizado where you would fail during the bachizado. You would do at least if you have the testing would be done before. And then if you weren't ready, you weren't ready, but you would not do it during the ceremony. I've never seen that. Oh.
Okay, I got a couple of issues with Gyro. The main one is, where's his abada? Why is he not wearing white pants? Also, okay, I was gonna say where's his shirt, but that's not like abnormal for like sexy jerk capoeira guys to like not wear a shirt, so I guess. Where's his cord? If this is a bachizado, where's the cord, sir? What's with that necklace? That's weird. But then also, he's got like these weird like cha movements, like he's saying cha a lot. I wish I could tell you that I have never played someone who's made weird noises, but that's not true. But most of the more experienced people like limit themselves to like one embarrassing thing, and I think these weird mouth noises it's too many.
Why do we even put like a new chord to play against a master for their belt? In this video, it kind of almost comes across as if the teacher is showing off to everyone watching. There's definitely kind of like an ego-driven presentation that's happening, like a performance or exhibition in front of outsiders that is occurring in this situation. And I mean, not necessarily to say that that's a bad thing, but that's just kind of something that happens.
Have a seat. The next student testing for her yellow corda is Janelle.
Hey, wait a minute.
Please do not interrupt the ceremony, Bob.
Just give her the stupid cord. Can't you see how much this means to her?
I'm sorry, Bob, but she did not perform the 5 elementary motions, so she will not be receiving her yellow corda.
Oh, the 5 elementary motions.
It's funny how the teacher fails Tina based upon a standard that Tina isn't aware about. Maybe it was clear for other students, but Tina didn't know, which is kind of her bad, or maybe it's the teacher's bad for not making that very clear.
1 we get. 1 is Ginga. 2 is turn out with hands up. Maybe that's an escape. 3 maybe is Naul. 4 looks like they're learning how to fall. Looks like someone's like falling down the stairs. And 5 is in complete turnout in this position. I don't know what that one is.
That could be a head nod at like if you're a disciple or student of Mestre Bimba, and you have those the Bimba sequences that you do, or maybe Kodajioro, you have for the style of Miojinho, and different sequences that you have. But yeah, most schools have that. Some schools I've learned don't have like a very set rule. One of the biggest things about capoeira is that it's not standardized all across the board. The ranking systems are different from school to school. The requirements of those ranks are different. The titles of the ranks are different. The names of the movements are different. Like it's just there's not really like a this is this, right? There's only like 2 things that I know of in capoeira that is like that's that, and that's Ginga and Au, and then like all the other things have different names.
So Tina doesn't have a chord at all. It's actually kind of a bummer for Tina. When I started, I had just from starting, I had just like a beginner chord, and then like I had to sort of earn like the chords that I got promoted to later on. In my group, we don't have like 5 elementary motions, and I don't know what those are. It looks like someone's like doing a squat. That second one, no. Different requirements for every group.
Hello, Corda. What? She did better than Neil. That kid was a mess out there. Hey! Oh, you know it's true. Tina did all 5 of the elementary weird motions, I think. She did that one. She did that one a lot.
Is this because I made you poop your pantalones?
Pantalones is not Portuguese. You know, gyro doesn't have to be Brazilian. But yeah, it's not Portuguese.
The poop the pantalones. I like how they brought in the Spanish reference, because usually Portuguese is confused with Spanish. People think that Brazilians speak Spanish.
This isn't about me, it's about Tina.
Oh, is that what you think?
All right, that's it. I'm taking a quarter. Ow.
Don't touch. Ponytail.
He just smacked him with his ponytail.
So I do think it was on Bob's bad that he came in there and told the teacher kind of how to run his school and who to give a chord to. So I don't think that was appropriate to kind of openly defy him in his space, even though it was, he was trying to defend his daughter.
Actually, a part of me really got nervous when Bob was like reaching for the chords, because chords are like something very special. Like you don't usually like touch someone else's chord or grab a chord. It's like something that's very, very special to the person that it belongs to. So part of me was like, "Oh, don't touch that!" And then Gyro luckily came in with his ponytail and saved the day there.
So here's a fun fact. I actually used to have very, very long hair. I've never said ponytail or Brasil, like none of that. But I have done the hair whip on quite a few occasions, and it works.
Ponytail.
Bite! Nose wound into the brain. Then scan him and wear him like a costume.
All right, Louise, all right. Here we go.
Bobby, don't do this.
I have to stand up for Tina.
But Bob, look at the clock. It's
I'm just-
4:28.
I know, Lynn.
Imagine if your parents came into a batizado, or you're belt testing for taekwondo or karate or whatever, and didn't agree with what the teacher decided, and decided to challenge the teacher to a fight. Like, this is totally cringeworthy.
You should never go to a martial artists academy or school and then tell them how to run it, and when they don't do what you say, you go pick a fight with them. That's just dumb. Don't do that.
I know. And if I poop, I poop.
Oh, Bobby.
Come on.
Is they making also a reference to Only the Strong? This scene right here.
Well, hold on. It wasn't ready that time, so.
Keep your sphincter tight, Bobby.
I'm okay, Lynn.
Is this Dad?
Ow! Louise.
Sorry.
Ponytail.
Ow!
Ow. Brasil. Hey, you want some more? No. Ow.
Make it stop, Mom.
For the teacher beating up Bob repeatedly, taking him down over and over again, I don't think that was good on the teacher. Again, it's kind of like another ego thing to kind of show that they're in charge when, it's clear that you're already in charge. And I've definitely seen this happen a lot in capoeiras or testing, where they kind of go too far and show, give too much of a hard time to the person. But also, kind of in the situation, Bob and the teacher kind of suck. Everyone sucks here because he shouldn't have told them how to run a school, and the teacher shouldn't be a jerk and just repeatedly beat him up.
Dad was right. Gyro's just a jerk. A sexy, sensual, creepy, sexy jerk.
And it's also funny how Tina describes his teacher. My first teacher was also kind of like a macho, studly jerk figure, and exotic in that sense. So you can see that it does happen a lot, where people are drawn to this almost exoticism of this representation of this culture that's so appealing.
Go, Dad! Come on, Dad! Dad!
Okay, so this scene, this part of the scene reminds me of Rocky IV, right, where Drago is fighting with Rocky, and Rocky's he came in and he's like the bad guy, right, and everyone's cheering for Drago, and then at the end of the fight, they're cheering for Rocky. That's what this feels like to me. I don't know, like in the music too, like it just feels like that Rocky moment, that heroic moment, like.
I'm a little confused as to why all these kids are cheering Dad. Like, he's not all of their dads. What?
Thanks, Tina. I got him right where I want him.
Gyro, gyro, gyro. Oh my goodness. So this guy clearly has an ego issue. That is not uncommon in martial arts, and Capoeira is no exception. I've dealt with a few. If you are dealing with an instructor or a master who's driven by ego, or needs to be glorified, or has the need to feel worshipped by his or her students, I don't know, like that's not a place that I would want to be. It's not a group I'd like to be a part of, or a school that I'd like to be a member of. It's just like never been my thing. Yeah.
Overall, it was a very humorous segment.
In this episode, it's interesting the different sides that they have shown of Capoeira. And obviously they take it to the extreme, so we notice them. I like that they showed it was an efficient form of martial art, of course, and they started to show that it was a tool to build community, but then they also showed that it can be like a little bit vicious to tear it apart, showing like by its own nature it's a mirror of life. So this episode, sexy dance fighting from Bob's Burger. Yeah, I think anytime that Capoeira is shown in films or in commercials is great. It becomes more common knowledge. People start to learn a little bit about what it is that we do, and then maybe eventually more people will have more friends and they'll have to play with and to share this great art form that we practice and learn about.
So he obviously gets, they clean the floor with him. But the interesting thing that comes out in this, similar to the art of self-defense, is that this teacher is really motivated by ego, by proving himself, by maintaining this tight control over his students. They kind of worship him, and then as they see that he's really just a jerk, they change their points of view. So that's kind of a cute way that this segment ends. But it definitely calls attention to the question of really what we're motivated by as teachers as well as students of martial arts. Do we really want to better ourselves? Do we really want to better our communities? Or are we looking to be adored? Are we looking to have that control over people who look up to us? One of my teachers has always said that I'm never above my students. I have more experience and so I'm ahead of them, but I'm never above them. I've taken those steps before they have, and so they follow in my steps. But I'm never higher than them and they're never lower than me. So I guess in this way, this show is a bit of a warning not to fall into that ego trap that a lot of martial artists and that includes a lot of capoeiristas have fallen into. But it's comedy. If you have not seen it, if you're a capoeirista, you should see it because you will realize that whoever wrote this episode had a really deep insight into the world of capoeira and maybe martial arts in general. It's hilarious, and if you haven't seen it and you're a capoeira teacher, you're gonna get students who talk about Bob's Burgers. So it's better, it will behoove you to check this out. All right, everybody, thank you very much, and I'm gonna throw this back to Guerrero.
All right, well, I hope you all enjoyed that. It was nice to get some opinions from other people about this episode. I've had many people come to my school or walk up to me if I'm talking about capoeira and they're asking me, that's that thing from Bob's Burgers, right? And yeah, I guess it is. Thank you, Contra, Mestre, Versatil, Professora Tiririca, Professor Arisco, and Graduada Pimenta for being a part of this on our first episode. There will be many more episodes to come. Stay tuned.